Good morning and welcome to another edition of Sportsline. I'm your host, Simon Floss. Today I have the pleasure of sitting with Chris Johnson, the head men's basketball coach at USF. How are you doing this morning?
Doing well, Simon. Thanks for having me.
Good. So I understand you guys had a pretty big weekend this weekend. You want to tell us a little bit about it really quick?
Yeah, we had our opening weekend, and those are always fun. You only get so many of those, especially as a student athlete. 4 times that opening weekend, there's a little bit more juice in the locker room. Everybody's ready to go, and we played 2 really good MIAA teams on the road, and split, had a chance to win both of those games, and quite frankly, really feel like we probably should have. But it was a real nice step in the right direction. For your first weekend, there's still a lot to build on, but I thought our guys competed hard.
Good. Let's talk about the game against Emporia State. I understand it was a pretty just well-balanced effort, 5 players that you had in double digits. Can you talk about maybe how the offense worked and some bright spots about that?
Well, there's positives and negatives, just like anything. We scored 85 points, but we missed, I think it was 18 free throws and had 18 turnovers. Boy, we could have put 110 on the board if we were, really clicking. But we really shared the basketball well. We had, like you said, 5 guys in double figures and a couple with 8 or 9. Really spread it around, and that's a nice change. Last year we just relied so heavily on Mac Johnson and Charles Ward, and if they had an off night, we could be in trouble. And this year we just have a lot more weapons. And so offensively, I was fairly happy for the first game outside of the turnovers. I thought we played really well.
Good. So it was a really close game, back and forth affair. Can you tell us how the game panned out towards the end? What exactly happened for your crew to take the victory?
Yep, there was a lot of things. There was different guys here and there made big plays. Jared Mays had a 5-point run on his own with about 2 minutes left. Jordan Stotts made 2 big threes down the stretch. Hadn't even attempted one the whole game. Made one with about, a couple minutes left to tie it up, and made another one with under a minute left to go up by 1. And then Tom Acey made 2 big free throws with about 9 seconds left to kind of ice it, and it was really nice to see a bunch of different guys step up and make plays down the stretch.
Good. I understand you shot 50% from the field and over 55% from the three-point. That's pretty good. Won the rebounding battle by about 11. Can you talk about some of the defensive efforts that your crew put together?
Yeah, I thought defensively we were much better the second game that we'll get to, but it was solid. We rebounded the ball. We really shot the ball well. And so the defense, we held them, I think, to 44, 45%. I'd like it to be a little lower, but it's not a ridiculous number. When you shoot 50% and 55% from 3, you're going to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
And, but I thought the overall effort defensively and on the glass, because we're not a big basketball team. We're not really small, but we're just kind of an average size right now. And the 2 teams we played were quite a bit bigger than us, and for us to be plus on the rebounding both nights was something to be excited about.
Good. Let's move right next to the Fort Hays State game. A little bit of a heartbreak game there. Lost just by 2 points. Can you give us just basically an overview of that game? Yeah,
we jumped on them. It was in their gym. They're a perennial power at Division II basketball, and I've got a big arena, and it was rocking. And we jumped on them 14-4 to start the game, and probably played as good a 3 minutes as I've had a team play. I mean, we just, we were knocking down threes, we were getting stops, and Stotts got a big dunk, and got our bench into it, and then they made a couple adjustments, and we got a little stagnant for a while, and it turned into a kind of a rock and alley fight. The day before we're in the 80s. This one was 62-60, and just came down to the last couple plays. We missed a couple free throws down the stretch, and they hit a jump shot with 0.9 seconds left to beat us. And as frustrating as that is, because I really believe we should have won both of those games, that's a really good basketball team on their floor, where I think they've lost 3 games in the last 5 years. And so it was a positive step. It's just not quite as fulfilling as it could have been.
Deep shooting seems to be one of the mainstays for your club. You shot over 40% in this one again, so 55% in the first one, 40% in the second one. Is that something that you're going to continue to try to do?
Yeah, it's something that we made a concerted effort to recruit more shooters. Anyone who watched us last year, that was a big downfall of ours. And 2 years ago, when we had a really good year, we shot it well. And so we needed to get back to that. We only took 23s the first night and made 11 of them. That's a better situation. The second night we took 25. like to keep that number down a little bit, but we have made open shots because we've shared the basketball, and so they're not taking contested threes. They're taking, their feet set, wide open ones, and right now the guys are shooting it with a lot of confidence.
Good. Speaking of shooting, maybe something that seems that you guys might need to work on a little bit is just free throw shooting and then turnovers. What do you guys have to do to be able to remedy that?
Well, those are the two biggest things, and they just scream at you when you look at our box scores. The free throw shooting hadn't been an issue all fall. We had played two scrimmages and an exhibition, and it wasn't an issue. I don't know if it was nerves. I don't know. Sometimes those things can kind of build on each other. You watch your teammates miss some free throws. You start to grip a little bit because you really need to make these now, and I think maybe that won't be as big an issue down the stretch as the season goes along. The turnovers thing is concerning. That was a part of our issue last year, and it'd be easy if it was, quite honestly, like one guy or one situation. You could just fix it. Right now, it's everybody having 2 or 3, and that's just too many. And we get that number down to 12, we're going to be in good shape.
Good. So what comes up next? What can we expect from the new group this one?
Well, we've got 2 games this week. We'll play St. Mary's out of Minnesota on Thursday at home at 7. And then we have a doubleheader with the women's team where we have Waldorf, who beat Crookston in our league last weekend on Saturday at home. So it's a big week for us. We haven't played at home. We haven't scrimmaged at home. We've been on the road the whole fall. And so we're excited to get back in front of the Stewart Center fans.
Excellent. Well, I'll be there for sure.
Sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks a lot.
Come back anytime.
All righty.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with women's basketball coach Travis Traphagen.
At the University of Sioux Falls, students earn more than a degree. They gain an experience that transforms their lives. While they list the Christian community, dynamic professors, and premier career opportunities as top benefits, it's not just what they become, but who they become that USF graduates value most. USF, where you become who you become.
Welcome back to Sportsline. I'm your host, Simon Floss. As I mentioned before the break, we're addressing head women's basketball coach Travis Traphagen. Travis, how you doing this morning?
Good, Simon, thanks.
Good, good. So it was just a big weekend overall for basketball at USF. You guys had a tournament this weekend as well. You want to give us a little insight about what happened there?
Yeah, had a classic in town with Augustana and ourselves hosted Northwest Missouri State and Nebraska Kearney. And like Coach Johnson probably talked, they went to they call them crossovers, where if we can play games within our region, which is this MIAA opponents, always really big toward the end of the year, especially if you can win those games. And we brought in Nebraska Kearney, like I said, and Northwest Missouri State, 2 very good teams. And quite honestly, anytime you leave the weekend 2-0, you got to be pretty excited about things. But we got a lot of kids, a lot of time. And I just thought, honestly, for a first weekend, I couldn't be more proud of the effort, really going forward.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the Nebraska Kearney game first. Pretty good game, I'd say, for Sam Kennick. 11 for 14, 24 points, and just great game. Can you talk about what was going well for her? Because that's really efficient.
Yeah, honestly, it was one of those games that first game of the year, you hope you get off to a good start, and before you know it, we were up 18-0 to start the game. And we have, I think the last time I was on the show, we talked about our team. We just have a lot of balance. We found something that worked with going inside to Sammy. Felt like we had a little bit of an advantage inside, and Sam really just kind of controlled the game. And anytime you're playing that well early, she had a bunch of points early, that the floor really gets spread. And then when we have kids like Taylor Varsho and Maddie Robson and Allison Johnson, just a lot of kids that we kind of came at them from all angles. And quite honestly, the game was, you never want to say over in the first 5 minutes, but it was kind of over in the first 5 minutes, where that 18-point lead turned into a 30-point lead in a hurry. And just thought we had a lot of good balance around. And again, anytime that you can start going inside and make the defense collapse, that sure helps our team out a lot. So was really proud of Sam, the way she had come in. For those people that have come and watched her play in years past, it's what you hope to get out of a junior now. She was really good as a freshman, took a step as a sophomore, and I think she could really show what she can do, just the first game of the year by scoring the 24 points and just really being a dominant force inside.
Mm-hmm. She wasn't alone, though. You mentioned Taylor Varsho put up 22 points, 4 3-pointers, and then Tegan Molden, 17 points. Your club had a Division II best 24 assists. Can you talk about some of the offensive schemes that you've been doing this game that helped that?
I wish I could tell you that I was responsible for a lot of good schemes. Honestly, I'm a big believer now that the better players you get, kids just know how to score if we can put them in a good situation to score. And that was probably the one stat that I'm glad that you mentioned that I was most proud of all weekend was the way we shared the basketball. You know, we run a lot of motion offense where, you know, quite honestly, I don't control who's going to get the shot. Now, I have plenty of different entries and sets that I can control if I need to, but our kids just shared the basketball well, and any time that you have 24 assists, you know, I mean, last year probably our high was probably 15. Mm-hmm. We're really athletic, we're really fast, and we're willing to play transition basketball, and once in a while even maybe shooting some bad shots, but they know that when you have a Taylor Varsho, and you have a Tegan Molden playing the 4 and a Sammy, at some point you got to be able to take something away. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm just so proud of a team that just doesn't care who scores, and I think that's always a testament to a good team that, you know, we're really hard to prepare for, because what do you want to take away? So if we can continue with that same unselfish play and same pace of play that we're doing, I think we'll be a tough out this year.
You owned the paint, 46-16, that advantage. Is that something that you're going to try to consistently do throughout the course of the season?
Yeah, I think as I become older as a coach, if you've watched our teams in years past, you know, we really shot quick shots, a lot of early threes, and that's still kind of part of our style. But I feel like anytime that we have 3 really solid post players, mm-hmm. One with Sam Connect, with Amber Payton, with Maura Duffy, but when you talk about posts as well, that's got to probably include our 4s as well, mm-hmm. where you got Tegan Molden and Allison Klosegard. You know, just kids that, you know, if we put them in the right situation can score. You know, the one kid that we haven't even talked about was Allison Klosegard, which I'm sure we will mm-hmm. when we talk about the next game against Northwest Missouri State. But again, that's what's just really nice. Again, it comes down to the balance that, you know, it wasn't one of those things that we were just going into Tegan for her to be able to get her 15, 16 points, whatever she had. But it was just, it was sharing the basketball and getting the ball to the kids in the right spots to be successful.
Good. So let's move gears to the Northwest Missouri State game. Talk about Allison's performance. Career high 25 points. What was going well for her?
Yeah, you know, Al's one of those kids that, you know, just as time goes, she's going to keep getting better. She's always the blue collar, kind of the heart of the team, that mm-hmm. probably the best rebounder I've ever coached, one of the better athletes at the 4 that I've ever coached. You know, and a year ago, just never really thought of herself as much of a scorer, per se, just did all the dirty work. And all of a sudden this summer, she put a lot of time in, and boy, we're watching her this fall, we're saying, hey, you could score. And her role has kind of changed, but you know, she has the ability to shoot the 3 from the 4 spot, which really allows us to stretch the floor. But then she's just so good at attacking the rim and getting second chance points. And, you know, and I'll be honest with you, Simon, when the game got done, I mean, I was shocked that she had 25. I mean, it was really kind of a quiet 25, but I believe that she was 9 out of 10 mm-hmm. from the field, had a bunch of rebounds, a bunch of assists, you know. And if we can get production out of Allison like that, I mean, you know, we'll be real tough. And again, in a lot of those points just came out of the flow of the offense. I didn't probably run a lot of specials for her, mm-hmm. But again, that just shows what type of special player somebody can be, that when their opportunity arises, they definitely take advantage of it.
Sure. And in this game, you won the rebounding battle 35-27. You mentioned some of your good bigs who have just been producing. Who are some of the guards? You mentioned Maddie Robinson.
Yep.
Overall, great play, but what do you want from them for the rest of the season?
You know, one thing that you just can't you can't stress enough, you know, Maddie, being a transfer point guard is just the epitome of what I guess I call a true leader, true point guard. Her and Marie are just different. Marie Malloy, our 2-point guard, just different. Malloy's more of a scoring guard that, you know, is just a great athlete that can do great things. You know, and for the novice fan that looks at a box score and just says, hey, they look at somebody's performance based on points. Mm-hmm. You're not always going to see Maddie scoring all the points in the world, but I believe on Saturday she had 9 assists. Yep. And again, sometimes we don't have enough balls to go around on our team anyway. Mm-hmm. You know, we play fast, but to be able to say that, just to have a floor general that can get us 9 assists when we play, get the ball to Allison when she's playing well, get the ball to Tegan Molden, you know, and Taylor Varsho is probably always going to be the focal point of our offense, just a kid who can get her shot whenever she wants to. And I think kind of showed flashes this weekend why she was the preseason player of the year in the Northern Sun. So, you know, at this point, I'm excited about where we're at after week 1. Sometimes we open up with NEI opponents or Division III opponents that you hope that you get wins against. That on paper you should anyway. It doesn't always work that way, I understand that. But to be able to have 2 good in-region opponents coming into the gym and quite handily probably be up 20 plus the majority of the game against both those, that I just couldn't be more proud, because it was a great overall effort by our kids.
So what comes next?
This week here we have tonight, Tuesday at 7 o'clock, we play Dakota State out of Madison, South Dakota, a team that's coming in 5-2, and quite honestly, just getting done watching them play Mount Marty, somebody who we had scrimmaged early in the year, and they looked really good. So I know we'll have our hands full here tonight. And I think the big thing that we talk to our kids about is maturity. It's easy to have a letdown, in a kid's mind, saying, okay, we just got done playing Division IIs, now we're playing an NEI. But again, we can't get into that trap, because a lot of the teams around here, if it's the Mount Martys, Dakota Wesleys, Dakota States, a lot of those teams are very, very good teams that, if we don't come out and play, can definitely beat us. Then we turn around and switch gears. We play Presentation College on Saturday. It'll be a doubleheader with the men. The men play at 6, we play at 4. The men play Waldorf on Saturday. And then we have a quick turnaround and play Tuesday against Southwest Minnesota State, which is our first conference game. And then we leave on Wednesday for sunny Florida. We're going down to Daytona Beach and Melbourne, Florida, to be able to play a couple Division II games, and then we'll be back, getting right back into the meat of our conference schedule. So, I kind of like the model of a lot of our teams take here. We'll just take one at a time, play to be 1-0, and that's what we're going to do tonight against Dakota State.
Excellent. Well, speaking of the Florida one, I don't know if you see outside, it's rainy and cold. If you want to take me with, that'd be fine.
Hey, if you want to come down and do some interviews, I think we might have one extra ticket.
I could take advantage of that.
That's perfect.
Awesome. Well, I wish you nothing but the best of luck. Thanks for stopping by again.
Simon.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us on another edition of Sportsline. I'm your host, Simon Floss. I'll see you next week.